I should have known Maplewood Estates wasn't meant for people like me. Not that they ever said it out loud. No, the people here are too polished for that, too careful. Instead, it's in the small things. The too long stares. The forced politeness, just a little too tight-lipped. The way conversations pause when I walk past, like I've stepped into a space I don't belong in. But I push it aside. Because this is home now. The sun spills over perfectly manicured lawns, illuminating identical two-story houses with white trim and stone facades. American flags sway gently from porches, and the scent of fresh-cut grass lingers in the air. Children ride bikes along the sidewalk, their laughter mingling with the hum of sprinklers. I exhale, gripping my coffee mug, watching my daughter, Maya, chase our golden retriever, Duke, across the yard. She giggles as the dog bounds after a tennis ball, her curls bouncing in the morning light. This is why I moved here. For her. For the safety, the good schools, the quiet streets. A place where she could grow up without worry. But I'm starting to wonder if I made a mistake. I step toward the mailbox, my bare feet pressing into the dewy grass. Inside, an envelope stares back at me. Bright yellow, bold letters. HOA violation notice. I sigh. Another one? Ripping it open, I skim the contents. Grass exceeding HOA mandated length. Fine, $50. I glance at my lawn. It's pristine. Barely a fraction longer than my neighbor's, where a garden gnome army stands watch. Across the street, Mrs. Harrison waves, watering her flower bed. I nod back, gripping the notice tighter. This isn't about the grass. It's the fourth fine this month. First, it was trash bins left out too long. Then, a child's toy left on the porch. Last week, Duke's barking after sunset. I know what this is. And I know who's behind it. A golf cart hums down the street, stopping right in front of my house. Meredith Lawson, the HOA president, steps out, her designer sunglasses gleaming under the sun. Her posture is crisp, her smile thin. She doesn't wave. Doesn't greet me like she does the others. Instead, she steps onto my driveway like she owns it. Mr. Carter, she says, voice clipped. I take a slow sip of my coffee. Morning, Meredith. Her lips tighten. I see you've received your notice. I did. I fold the paper deliberately. Tell me something. How long is the Harrisons' grass? She doesn't even glance at their yard. We apply the rules equally. I let out a dry chuckle. Sure you do. Meredith's gaze sharpens. I'd watch your tone, Mr. Carter. The HOA takes violations very seriously. A warning. A message. And I just know this is only the beginning. The next sign that something isn't right comes 2 days later. It's early evening, and I'm in the driveway, helping Maya with her bike. She grips the handlebars tightly, her face scrunched in concentration as she wobbles forward. Duke trots beside her, tail wagging. You're doing great, baby, I encourage. She grins, but before she can respond, the sound of a car rolling to a stop makes me turn. A white SUV idles at the curb. The windows are tinted, but I can feel the eyes watching me. The driver doesn't get out. Doesn't even pretend to check their phone or adjust the radio. Just watches. My jaw tightens. I stare back, unmoving. 30 seconds pass. A minute. Then, as if realizing I won't look away, the SUV pulls off, slow, deliberate, before disappearing around the corner. Unease coils in my stomach. I glance down at Maya, oblivious as she celebrates staying upright for 3 whole seconds. I don't want to ruin this moment, don't want her to sense my tension. But I know what I saw. And it's not paranoia. The next morning, I find another notice taped to my front door. Unauthorized modification to property. Fine, $75. I frown, scanning the paper. The violation? A security camera. I installed it last week above my garage, same model, same placement as the Thompsons 3 doors down. I march to their house. Their camera is still there. No violation taped to their door. I already know what's coming, but I go through the motions anyway, pulling out my phone and calling the HOA office. A clipped voice answers. Maplewood Estates, HOA, this is Cindy. Hi, Cindy. I just got a violation notice about my security camera. Can you tell me why? A pause. Cameras must be pre-approved by the HOA board. Mine is the exact same as my neighbor's. A longer pause. Then, I can't speak on other properties, sir. You'll need to take it up with the board. I exhale slowly.
Right.
When's the next meeting? Next Tuesday at 6 p.m. I grip my phone tighter. I'll be there. That night, I take Duke for a walk. The air is cool, the streetlights casting long shadows. But as I round the corner, I stop short. A woman stands by my house. Even from a distance, I recognize the silhouette. Meredith Lawson. She's facing my property, arms crossed, studying it like she's inspecting something. Like she's deciding what else she can find to find me for. I step forward. Can I help you? She turns, all polished smiles.
Oh.
Mr. Carter. What are you doing outside my house? Her expression doesn't change. Just a routine neighborhood check. At 9 at night, her gaze flickers to Duke. I hope you're keeping that dog on a tight leash. Some residents have concerns. I don't blink. What residents? Her smile widens. Good night, Mr. Carter. She walks away without another word. And in that moment, I know this isn't just about HOA rules. This is personal. I arrive at the HOA meeting 10 minutes early, but the room is already packed. Folding chairs form neat rows inside the community center, filled with residents murmuring in low voices. Some glance my way, then quickly look away, as if just noticing me is too much effort. At the front, Meredith Lawson sits behind a long table, flanked by other board members, middle-aged, well-dressed, their expressions unreadable. I take a seat near the aisle, arms crossed. I'm not here to make a scene. Not yet. I just want answers. But I can already tell. Tonight won't be that simple. The meeting starts with routine business. A new fence regulation. A reminder about garbage collection times. Then, finally, next on the agenda, compliance violations. Meredith clears her throat, smoothing a stack of papers in front of her. Unfortunately, we've had numerous issues with a resident who has repeatedly disregarded HOA guidelines. She doesn't say my name, but her eyes lock onto mine. The room shifts. People glance at me, some whispering, some smirking. I sit up straighter. Meredith continues. This resident has installed an unapproved security camera, ignored lawn maintenance notices, and, most concerningly, allowed a dangerous animal to roam freely. A ripple of murmurs spreads. I blink. I'm sorry, what? Meredith feigns sympathy. Multiple neighbors have reported feeling unsafe due to a large, aggressive dog.
Duke. She's talking about Duke.
I let out a sharp laugh. You mean my golden retriever? Meredith doesn't flinch. Regardless of breed, residents have the right to feel safe in their community. We've received several complaints. I glance around. From who? Because I walk Duke every night and people stop to pet him. Silence. No one speaks up. Because there are no complaints. Meredith sighs. We've already sent a formal warning. If further violations occur, we'll have no choice but to escalate. I lean forward. Escalate how? She folds her hands primly. The HOA does have the authority to involve law enforcement. My breath slows. Law enforcement. Over a dog. She smiles. Over ongoing violations. A knot forms in my chest. I see it now, the long game she's playing. This isn't about rules. It's about power. She wants to make me break. I take a deep breath.
Fine.
Then, let's talk about your violations. Her expression flickers. Excuse me? I pull out my phone, tapping the screen. A slideshow of other houses flashes, security cameras identical to mine, but no violation notices. Lawn decorations that don't follow HOA guidelines. Garbage bins left out for days. I hold it up. Why am I getting fined, but not them? A few people shift uncomfortably. A man in the second row clears his throat. He's got a point. Meredith's jaw tightens. We enforce the rules fairly. I meet her gaze. No, you enforce them selectively. The tension is thick now, stretching across the room. Then, from the back. He's right. I turn. Mrs. Patel, who runs the neighborhood book club, stands up, arms folded. I've seen those fines piling up at his house. It isn't fair. Someone else nods. And my neighbor's dog barks all night, but I've never seen them get a warning. Murmurs of agreement spread. Meredith straightens, eyes flashing. If residents have concerns, they can file a formal complaint. I cut her off. Or maybe I take this to someone else. Silence. Her nostrils flare. The HOA operates under strict. My father is Judge William Carter. A beat of stillness. Then the reaction. A few people stiffen. A man in the front actually gulps. Even Meredith flinches, just barely, but enough that I see the moment she realizes. Judge William Carter. Civil rights icon. A man who has taken down city councils, real estate companies, and homeowners associations for discrimination. I let the name settle in the air before I continue. So, Meredith, do you really want to escalate this? The mask cracks. Just a little. But I see it. She knows she's losing control. Still, she squares her shoulders. We'll review the violations. That's a good idea. I slip my phone back into my pocket. And, in the meantime, I suggest you stop harassing me. Because if I find one more notice taped to my door, one more false complaint, I lean forward. I will escalate this. And this time she won't win. I wake up to flashing red and blue lights. The strobe of police cruisers floods my bedroom through the blinds, washing the walls in streaks of crimson and cobalt. My stomach tightens. Something's wrong. I throw on a hoodie, rush to the door, and swing it open to find 3 officers standing in my driveway. Their hands hover near their holsters. Duke growls low beside me. And there, standing smugly behind them, is Meredith Lawson. She's dressed impeccably, a silk blouse tucked into tailored slacks, arms crossed like she's already won. The lead officer steps forward. Mr. Carter? I keep my voice steady.
Yeah.
He nods toward my porch. We received a report that you're keeping a dangerous animal on the premises. We're here to conduct an inspection. I exhale slowly. A dangerous animal? I glance at Duke, who sits obediently at my side. His tail thumps once against the ground. You mean my golden retriever? Meredith makes a dramatic show of sighing. Officer, I've had multiple complaints about this dog. Aggressive barking. Chasing children. Nearly attacking a resident last night. My fingers curl into fists. That's a lie. The officer shifts uncomfortably, but doesn't lower his hand from his belt. We'll need to take a look. Meredith tilts her head. You do have his registration papers, don't you? Her voice drips with fake concern. Because if he's not properly registered with the HOA, that's another violation. And per HOA policy, unregistered animals must be removed. There it is. The trap. The way she says removed makes my blood turn to ice. She's hoping I don't have the paperwork, hoping I argue, hoping I give the police any excuse. I take a breath, then another, and then I smile. Sure, I say easily. Let me grab his papers. Meredith's smirk falters. I step inside, retrieve a thick folder, and return to the porch. Here you go, officer. The officer takes the papers, flipping through them. His brows furrow. I cross my arms. That's Duke's registration. His vaccinations. HOA approval. City permits. Everything's in order. A muscle twitches in Meredith's jaw. I press forward. And while you're checking that, you might want to take a look at this. I pull out my phone and tap the screen. A video plays. The footage is grainy but clear enough from my security camera, time-stamped from last night. It shows Meredith, standing in my yard, sprinkling raw meat along my fence line. Meat that Duke sniffed but didn't eat because I trained him not to take food from strangers. I zoom in. The officers lean forward. Meredith's face is unmistakable. Interesting, I say lightly, because this sure looks like someone trying to bait my dog into acting aggressive. Silence. One of the officers frowns. Mrs. Lawson, is this you? Meredith stiffens. I was trying to check the yard for safety hazards. I arch a brow. At midnight? With raw meat. The officer shakes his head. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to step over here. Meredith snaps. This is outrageous, she hisses. This is my neighborhood. He doesn't belong here. And there it is. The mask finally slips. The quiet, polite discrimination, the carefully veiled harassment, the selective enforcement, it all unravels in that one moment. The officers stare. One of them mutters, Jesus Christ. I fold my arms. You should probably know. I sent this footage to my lawyer this morning. Meredith pales. The officers exchange looks. The lead officer sighs. Sir, we clearly don't have an issue with your dog. But he turns to Meredith. We might have an issue with you. Meredith stumbles back. This is a misunderstanding. I tilt my head. Don't worry, Meredith. I'm sure my father will find this very interesting. Her face drains of color. Meredith is still sputtering, but the lead officer isn't interested in her excuses. Mrs. Lawson, we're going to need you to come with us for questioning, he says firmly. She jerks back as if slapped. Questioning? For what? I was simply ensuring our community's safety. The second officer, a stocky woman with a sharp gaze, folds her arms. Lady, we just watched video footage of you trying to provoke this man's dog. That's intentional harassment at best, possibly animal cruelty. Meredith's face twists. I am the victim here. She whirls on me, voice shrill. He's been a nuisance since he moved in, disrespecting our rules, ignoring our standards. I laugh, shaking my head. You mean standards that only apply to me? Her mouth snaps shut. I step closer, voice calm but firm. You sent police to my house over a golden retriever. You tried to frame me. And now that you've been caught, you're panicking. Her hands tremble, but she straightens her blouse and lifts her chin. You won't get away with this, she says coldly. I have friends on the HOA board. People trust me. I just smile. Not for long. Then I turn to the growing crowd gathering along the sidewalk. Neighbors watching. Some had peeked from their windows when the flashing lights arrived. Others must have heard the shouting. Now, there are at least 20 people, some filming, others whispering. Perfect. I raise my voice. Since we're all here, let's talk about Meredith's real contributions to this community. A murmur ripples through the crowd. I pull out my phone again and tap the screen. More footage appears. First clip. Meredith removing fine notices from another resident's mailbox. I nod toward Mrs. Patel, who stands near the front. Remember when you got fined for those wind chimes? You never actually got the first warning, did you? She frowns, eyes narrowing. No, I didn't. Second clip. Meredith whispering to another board member at an HOA meeting, sliding a fine notice toward my name while ignoring identical infractions from 2 white homeowners. A low murmur spreads. I tilt my head. Curious, isn't it? The selective enforcement. Then the third clip plays. It's grainy but clear enough. Meredith on a phone call, standing near her car in the HOA parking lot. Her voice, sharp and annoyed. I don't care if his house is up to code. Find something. These people bring down property values. If we make life difficult enough, he'll leave. The silence is instant. Mrs. Patel gasps. A few people glance at each other, uncomfortable. Meredith lunges forward, trying to slap the phone from my hands. You had no right to record me. I step back easily. It's a public meeting, Meredith. You should be more careful about what you say. Someone in the crowd mutters, Wow. Another voice louder. So this was personal. Meredith turns desperately to the board members. You know me. You know I've always done what's best for this community. One of them, a balding man in a beige sweater, shuffles uncomfortably. Meredith, I didn't know about this. Neither did I, another woman says, arms crossed. The board members exchange looks. I press forward. So, let's make something clear. I am not going anywhere. But after this? I gesture to the footage. You sure as hell are. The second officer looks at Meredith. Mrs. Lawson, let's go. Meredith's mask finally breaks. She stumbles back.
Wait. No.
You can't do this. I'm the HOA president. The officer shrugs. And I'm a cop. Now turn around. Her face crumples, but she knows she's lost. I watch, arms folded, as they escort her to the police car. The crowd is silent. Some neighbors look guilty. Others look furious, not just at Meredith, but at themselves for letting her run unchecked for so long. Finally, someone claps. Then another. A wave of applause erupts, cutting through the night. And for the first time since moving here, I feel like I truly belong. Meredith Lawson's fall is swift and brutal. The next morning, her arrest footage is all over the neighborhood Facebook group. Someone even edited it, adding dramatic zoom-ins and slow-motion effects. It spreads fast, with comments ranging from "about time" to "she fined me for having my trash can out for 30 minutes. Karma's a b asterisk 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 asterisk." By noon, the HOA board calls an emergency meeting. By 3 p.m., Meredith is removed as president. By the end of the week, she's officially banned from serving on any HOA committee. And by the next month,
She's gone.
sold her house at a loss and vanished. No goodbyes. No farewell speeches. Just an empty driveway where her Mercedes used to sit. The cleanup begins. With Meredith out, the HOA does damage control. Rules start being enforced fairly. The bogus fines disappear. The selective enforcement?
Gone.
One afternoon, I find a new HOA notice on my door. For a second, my stomach clenches, until I see the headline. Apology and policy changes, community meeting this Saturday. I exhale. Finally. Saturday comes, and the meeting hall is packed. The board members look tense, but there's a clear shift. The balding guy, Mr. Thompson, clears his throat. As many of you know, Mrs. Lawson's leadership had issues. A few chuckles ripple through the crowd. He continues, "We've decided to revise how violations are handled. Effective immediately. All HOA complaints will require photographic proof, and fines will be reviewed by a neutral committee before being issued." That gets a round of actual applause. Then, to my surprise, he turns toward me. "And, Mr. Carter, we owe you an apology." The room falls silent. I lean back in my chair. "Oh,"
He sighs.
"we should have spoken up sooner. We let her run unchecked, and that won't happen again." I study him. For the first time, I see guilt, maybe even shame.
Good.
I let the silence stretch before finally nodding. "See that you don't," I say. A community transformed. Over the next few weeks, things change. Neighbors I barely spoke to start waving when I walk Duke. Mrs. Patel invites me to the book club. Kids ride their bikes past my house without their parents staring suspiciously. It's small, but it's real. Then, one afternoon, I hear a knock. I open the door to find Mrs. Patel and Mr. Thompson standing there, holding an envelope. "We took a vote," Mr. Thompson says, looking nervous. Mrs. Patel smiles. "And we'd like to offer you a position on the new HOA board." I blink. "You're serious?" "Completely." She hands me the envelope. "You deserve a voice." For a moment, I just stare. A few weeks ago, these people would have ignored me.
Now?
They're asking me to help lead. I exhale, glancing past them at the street, clean, quiet, finally at peace. Then I smile. Let's make sure this never happens again.